Good morning and welcome back to Breakfast Club. I am still Shah Shamshui and I promised you earlier I have a very special guest, none other than the very, very beautiful Gillian Hung. How are you, Gillian?
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. Yes, that's right. Very good morning. A lot of people in the industry, we call you Mama G, you know, that she's one hot mama, okay? She makes a fashion statement every time. Well-known, very prominent figure in the fashion industry and yeah, one of the most famous fashion consultants around. Actually, I know that she gives a lot of advice on fashion and she's worked with models, designers, you name them lah. I mean,
everybody.
Yes, I remember when I was still in university, yes, I remember whenever you talk about Gillian Hung, you always identify with fashion. So now we'll just get straight to it. First of all, you know, being an observer of the fashion industry, okay, in Malaysia, my first question is, what do you think of the present fashion industry right now in Malaysia?
Well, I have been in the industry for 20 over years, and I have to say that it has evolved tremendously through the 2 decades. And I have to say that the industry has grown tremendously from that time that I came back in 1988, from New York. And that time is really fashion in Malaysia is just infancy stage. And then through the like in the 90s, since Isetan days, and you have more and more and more shopping malls, and then you have more chain stores. And when China opened 15 years ago, there's much more. It flooded the market with much more apparel. So a lot of wholesalers. That's why the wholesale market has grown tremendously. I'm a consultant for Kenanga Wholesale City. So that has grown tremendously. So the last 20 years is just like a how should I say, like
everything flourished,
yeah,
everything flourished and blossomed.
And also the technology and all the information, and of course the internet and bloggers comes in. It's just overwhelming.
Very good. That's some positive feedback.
Yeah, it's quite positive.
And with all these new designers coming up, okay, now a lot of Malaysian designers. Before this, I remember like in the late 90s, a lot of Malaysian designers still they would stick to the when they design stuff, you would have some traditional elements in it. I remember that time Bill Keith was well known for his Cheong sounds and Rizalman for his kebayas, but for them to succeed overseas, internationally, because you've also gone abroad and everything now, what do you think, what does it take for a Malaysian designer, what does it take for a Malaysian designer to get to that level, go abroad?
Yeah, this is very good questions, because industry is actually split into many categories. You can be an individual designer like Bill Keith, like Michael Ong, very specialized, like Zhang Toy, very specialized in like
craft.
Craft is like made to measure. But if you're talking about international market, that is totally different. Like for example, Bernard Chandran collections is wonderful, in Malaysia. But once you want to go abroad, you have to know ready to wear. It's either ready to wear haute couture. Of course, ready-to-wear is a mass market where you actually get off the rack. So that ready-to-wear is all about business. You must know how to balance design and the costing and the pricing and so forth. And international market only looks at your collection, how far it can sell to their customer. It's not about one piece. It's not about avant-garde. It's not about
your identity.
No.
So in the end, you have to be practical.
You have to know the market. Which market are you catering for? And when you go overseas, the buyers will keep asking you lots of questions. Who are your target customers? Unfortunately, in Malaysia, right now, most of the students that come out from schools, because I do a lot of that seminar work, do not actually practice merchandising.
I see.
For example,
they only know designing.
Yeah, designing is just one part of it. Because if you do not know merchandising and the production and the costing, you cannot do overseas market. I'm sorry, you just can't. Because when you go to the fair, you put your collection out, the buyers come and they ask you about your whole collection. They will ask you about the pricing, the fabrics, the colors, and the quantity. If I'm going to take 25 pieces each design, and you must know one design, how many SKU, how many SKU means how many items within the collection, and plus everything has to match, mix and match, and then you must know your coloration, your fabrication.
A lot of nitty-gritty details.
This is business.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This is corporate, After that, it's how you produce the collection. So this is totally a different ballgame, which I have to say, I keep stressing every season, the designers need to know this before you can get overseas. It's not about just always talking about it. I want to sell my line. No,
it's not that easy.
No,
well, that's the other thing now.
The perception they get is so different.
Yeah, we have some images there of you, of course, being in some of the more more prominent fashion events now. You just mentioned earlier that you say, you know, it's not just about being a designer. They have to know about the merchandising and everything. Now, in a lot of, I think, more developed countries in the US and the UK, students study special things. You know, when they want to take up fashion, they can do fashion journalism, fashion merchandising. Now, in Malaysia, it's just fashion design. So what do you think about that? Where do we, you know, how do we urge people, or maybe colleges and private institutions, to have these courses? Because they worry, I'm sure they're worried, if we offer fashion merchandising, who's going to take it up? You know, but they don't know what happens after that.
The perception of the young generation is so different from our time.
Yes.
You know, that's why a lot of interviews I do is when I was young, I want to make clothes. Make clothes, you know, you really do like tailor. You're a tailor.
Okay.
Designing is only part of understanding who your customer and input your talent, your creativity into a garment that looks presentable like what you're wearing. I mean, it's a jacket is a jacket. How much can you do? But of course, with different details, different cutting, and make this jacket more flamboyant, much more value than just a normal jacket. But you cannot go too avant-garde where the mass is not accepting. So you have to know which target. Okay, coming back to that, because I know we have very short time. You cannot compare a market like New York. I mean, I live in New York all my life. You know, now it's on and off for 28 years. New York, Paris, London, especially, you know, Milan is a different market. These main markets, they have thousands or almost millions of small to big corporations that create collections to sell to the world.
Okay.
So they have capacity to hire different level of designers to work in the corporation. So they will learn. It's no way that you come out from New York school and try to be a single individual designer.
It doesn't work that way.
All the designers has to work somewhere, whether from Calvin Klein, Donna Karan, and you name it, so forth. So you probably have to work for like at least 5 to 10 years before you actually come out and say, hey, I want to create my own label. There's no way. If here everyone comes out and say, I want to be
just
an
finish
individual.
studying straight away.
Once they go into the market, then they understand, oh, it's so hard. It's so
easy.
Difficult.
Yes.
You know, and all of them, the main problem is they want to be famous right away.
Glamour is always there. Because, well, you know, the fashion industry, people always associate being a fashion designer as glamorous. You work with celebrities, VIPs, you dress people up. So I think that's why they feel that way. So now you are obviously saying
you have
that,
to choose. Like my background is, of course, I get the education from New York, you know. But when I come back, I was taken by Isetan, and when I first won the actual, I mean, 22 years ago, I won the first ASEAN Young Designer competition. That gives me a big break. Okay. But when I worked for Isetan for 10 years as their fashion design director, which means I have to learn merchandising from A to Z. It's all about calculations. If you do not know how to, you know, calculate and make use of the calculator, you just can't, because everything is about money. Every fabric, how many yards you make this, and the trimmings, the facing or whatever, everything is costing. Okay. And then you cost it out how much that you can sell 2 or times 2 or 3, you know, and then you have to minus the cost, like your staff, the consignment counter, and so forth.
Oh my God, so many things
yeah, so you know, that's what I do. People think that I just look glamorous, you know, glamorous.
That's what we think. That's the thing, because we see you at all the important events. But she's giving very good advice. It's not just about being a designer, studying design, and wow, you come out, you be a designer. Long process.
Not a lot of people look at. You want to be in the glamour world, you can. But what is your foundation? You know, at the end of the day, it's money talks, my dear.
Yes, the world works, you know, it runs on money,
fashion is a very expensive business, and you actually need a lot of capital to come up with a collection. So not many designers can sustain, you know, over the years and keep on striving. It's
in Malaysia,
very
like I said,
hard,
the names you mentioned earlier, Rizalman Ibrahim, Bill Keith, I know they're still around, but
I have to say that of all the designers, one person that I really admire is Sunny Sun, you know, and he has adopted the business way. That's why he has created Eclipse and not using his name, so that he can, you know, conceptualize Eclipse to be, you know, for modern lady, you know, and able to go out and wear in the evening. It's very chic, you know, and very, you know, sexy in a way. And he used a lot of jersey so that, you know, easy to carry and move around and so forth. So, and he can use this concept and duplicate.
Yes,
you know, one big effort, but you have like 20
so he can
stores.
Mass produce.
You mass produce, so you lower your cost costing so that you can have a bigger margin in your business, so that you can live a little bit comfortable, and you in future also you can, like now he's selling in Dubai, in Middle East and Cambodia, have his own store and stuff like that. Is because you can duplicate your is your business modules.
Very
just
good.
like it's just like having a shop or for example a cafe,
and
all that stuff. Yes.
Now he has it everywhere.
And also you can actually in future, when you want to retire in your 50s, you can sell the entire company for millions.
I see.
Because people will not buy just because who you are, they buy your business.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so perhaps our last to wrap up, what your advice to Malaysian designers, young designers, last advice.
Okay, I advise those who thinking of coming to the industry. Then you actually must go to institution to take out the foundation designing. Pattern making is very important. Don't neglect that, because every designer the most important thing is your patterns. Okay. And I advise the designers to actually be hardworking and don't even think about getting famous. Just think about your passion. Think about what you really love to do. Only people that I know in the industry that loves, like for me, I love to make. I mean, not just making clothes. I love the industry. Just advising and all that. And besides that, of course, 20 years of hard work. I sweep the floor, I make coffees, I do all that. Sew buttons and all. So it's about hard working and perseverance and determination and all that. If you don't, there's no shortcut. It's really no shortcut. So I hope that those people who wants to be in the industry, you're ready to go through this hardship. Yes.
Work hard and like she said, listen to her advice. But I'm afraid that's all the time I have for today's Breakfast Club. Thank you so much, Mama G, for coming on our show. We hope to see more of you soon. But for the Breakfast Club, I'm Shah Shamshiri saying goodbye and have a wonderful Tuesday.